Hey guys, my name is That Quiet Kid, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can exploit ESC8 without using NTLM relay and rubies. So in the last video, the steps were too long. Like you need to first relate using NTLM relay, give it to rubies, then ask for the ticket granting ticket and everything. So in this video, we will do everything through certipy and petitpotam. So like relay through petitpotam, no, I mean triggering through petitpotam and relay using certipy. So start your certipy relay dash target, which is http/192.168.170, which is the IP address of the domain controller with certificate authority installed. And we need to specify the template we are going to use, which is domain controller in our case. Press enter. You have started your relay. Now trigger it using petitpotam python 3 petitpotam dash u reze, which is a normal domain user. The IP address of the Kali Linux, which is 192.168.0.136, and the IP address of our target domain controller, like the domain controller which we are triggering, the machine account. So we are triggering the machine account of domain controller 1, which has the IP of 192.168.0.160. So we have our relay, and let's trigger. As you can see, it looks like the attack worked. Go back to your relay, and as you can see, that got certificate with DNS hostname dc1.berserk.local. So dc1 is the domain controller machine account which I triggered. dc1 dollar sign is actually the machine account. So the certificate is saved to dc1 pfx. So now we can authenticate to the domain controller using this certificate. Again, we'll use certipy, and we need to specify auth. We are authenticating using a pfx like certificate dc1.pfx, and we need IP address, which is 192.168.0.170. Okay, I think we need to specify target. Okay, I think it's dcip probably, dash dc dash ip. Yes. So as you can see, we have successfully got the NTLM hash and the cached ticket of the machine account of domain controller 1. So we can authenticate using this anti-hash to the domain controller using crackmapexec smb 192.168.0.160 dash u. It's dc1 dollar sign dash hash. Okay, as you can see, it is valid, but you might not see pond after this. But it doesn't mean that it is not a like high privilege user. Basically, this dc1 dollar sign, that is the machine account, has DCSync rights by default, because domain controllers need to communicate with each other using DCSync so that they are in sync with each other. So they by default have machine account by default has DCSync rights. So we can use impacket-secretsdump to basically we can use secret dumps to perform DCSync attack. So we need to first specify impacket-secretsdump, and let me see the syntax. So it requires the LMHASH and NTHASH as well. So need to copy this whole hash dash hashes dash target IP, which is 192.168.0.160. I think it's dash DC username, just DC dash just DC, and the user is, let me see, is the flag correct? Okay, it's domain slash username. So domain is berserk.local slash DC1 dollar sign. Okay, got an error. I think we didn't specify the IP at the rate 192.168.0.160. Okay, as you can see, we have successfully performed DCSync attack and dumped all the hashes. Administrator guts, which was a domain admin user, we have dumped all the hashes in the domain of all the users in the domain. We can I need to show you one more thing which I noticed during my lab building. So if you go to my domain controller on which I have certificate authority and go to tools, IIS manager, go to the domain, sites, default website, certificate server, and click on SSL certificate and click on require SSL. You will see that the relay is no longer working using certipy. So you have set up that it requires now HTTPS, it requires SSL certificate now. So we can try to perform the attack again. Let's first remove everything, dc1 dot cache ticket as well, remove dc1 dot pfx. Okay, so let's start our relay and perform petitpotam attack, and you can see the attack didn't work. So you can bypass this if you use NTLM relay X. So what we need to do is again use impacket NTLM relay X dash T HTTP. Instead of HTTP, now use HTTPS slash, no, let me first show you the response we get when we use HTTP dot 0.170. So after this point it's more into the research part of ESC8, how is it working, and uh, how we can bypass that, HTTPS 403. If you study more about ESC8, you will see that it's one of the mitigation to use HTTPS, so we are bypassing that. So specify certipy srv slash cert as cert fn, I think sh dot asp and dash dash ADCS dash dash template b domain controller and dash smb to support in case it has smb version 1 disabled. ADCS template smb to support and click on enter. If you now trigger petitpotam, you will see that no authentication required by the server, but we didn't get the certificate. Status code return 403. So if you remember in the first video, if you go to the certificate authority, you usually get 401 error, unauthenticated. But now if you refresh it, we are getting a 403 forbidden. So we are bypassing this now. So we can bypass this by simply using HTTPS. In the target, specify HTTPS and trigger petitpotam again. As you can see, we have successfully got the certificate for the domain controller DC1 dollar sign, domain control machine account DC1 dollar sign. We got the base 64. Okay, so you might ask, does it not work with certipy? Yes, I have tried it and it doesn't work with certipy relay. You can specify HTTPS here as well, trigger the machine account, and as you can see, the attack here it says the attack worked, but on this side you will see nothing. Even if you specify HTTPS, it still doesn't work because it is specifying HTTP first. So I think certify relay maybe probably supports only HTTP. So this is how you can basically still get the certificate of the domain controller machine account if it is using HTTPS. So what you need to do is use echo, okay, base 64 dash decode it to decode this certificate to cert simply. Now let's authenticate using certipy auth dash pfx. Will it accept it? I'm not sure if the format dash dc ip, I think it should, because we're specifying a certificate. Does it work? Okay, it still works. So the format of the file doesn't matter, it is accepting it as it is a certificate. We just didn't specify the format. So we specified the certificate authenticated against the domain controller and basically got the domain controller 1 DC1's machine account hash. So using that you can again perform DCSync attack, and that's it for this video, and thank you for watching.